Well, good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee Sunday morning celebration on Zoom. We're all watching the snow come down outside. I'm Reverend Pam Brandman, Senior Minister here at the center. And so it's my joy to welcome you here. For whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, but they all end in oneness and in love. So we're grateful that you are here with us this morning. We start out with our receptivity statement that you're going to see on the screen. And we can read it together while everyone is perfect. Okay, I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So our musicians this morning are Jahred and Shawna Namaste with Love Eternal. And like other musicians, they have been staying home during the pandemic rather than performing live. And so they've been really grateful that we've included them among our regular musicians to help them with their livelihood, really. And we've also been hoping that they could join us in the sanctuary. That the original intention is they were going to come and play for us live, but the snow had other ideas. And so we have them on video again this morning. So please help me welcome Love Eternal.
Good morning.
Happy holiday.
I'm gonna do a song for you called Blessings here. You've got your story and I've got mine. Yeah, somehow we turned out just fine. For all things healed in time. There are only blessings here. There are only blessings here. I'm not saying it don't get hard. We've all felt our lives coming fall apart. But we've got this moment, that's a great place to start. There are only blessings here. 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 And the love of my mother is real. And the love of my father is real. And the love of my mother is real. And the love of my father is real. And the love of my mother is real. And the love of my father is real. There are only blessings here. There are only blessings here. There are only blessings here. There are only blessings.
There are only blessings here. Each one of you is a blessing. And our practitioner today that I'd like to welcome is Brenda Heldoorn. And Brenda is joining us from her cozy home in Carson City, watching the snow outside just like we are here in Tahoe. So please help me welcome Brenda Heldoorn to provide our special reading and invocation.
Good morning. The reading that I've chosen today comes from the Science of Mind magazine, the December edition, and this is a piece written by our spiritual leader, Reverend Edward Viljoen, and his words really spoke to me in relation to our theme this month. So he says, the spiritual journey is about discovering the potential of our inherently perfect nature and expressing it. But we stumble and fall on this journey of becoming our true selves because some of the experiences along the path are deeply challenging. If we don't acknowledge them for what they are and integrate them, they can follow us like shadows. These shadows are the parts of ourselves we disown, both personally and collectively. They are the parts we may feel ashamed of or the parts we were taught to hide from others. Despite our shortcomings, the divine accepts us and welcomes us, no matter how far we may have strayed from our true nature. Whether you celebrate in a brightly lit garden, at the dark of midnight on the eve of winter solstice, at a Hanukkah, Christmas, or Kwanzaa festivity, or somewhere else, take a moment in this holy season to pause and appreciate your journey. Imagine a light in and around you that you did not create, but that shines as a permanent reminder of what lives in you, divinity. Powerful reminder. And so join me in prayer, where we remember that there is just one indescribable, ineffable power, one intelligence, one love above all, one source of all joy, of all beauty, of all wisdom. And just remembering this truth brings me home. Brings me home to that place where I recognize that I am of this one. I am of the likeness and like quality. Therefore, joy and love and beauty and wisdom, intelligence, power, and peace are my very birthright. And there is no barrier between me and this one. It is indeed closer than my breath. And this is true for all beings. And so we rest in this knowledge, in this understanding. And we step out into the world, invited to bring this knowledge, this remembering, this revealing of truth in ways that we are each individually called to express. So each one of us touches the world in our own way to bring this light, this truth, this remembering, this welcoming home back into the warmth and the light, the comfort and the joy, the peace and the wholeness. So in my heart, I welcome home the divine. That this is where the one lives and moves and has its being. In me, through me, as me. I am so grateful for this knowledge, for this understanding, for this embodiment. I release my word into the law, knowing that it returns fulfilled. And together we say, and so it is. And now I'd like to welcome Love Eternal back.
Hello again.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having us, friends.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Jahred, and this is my wife Shawna, and we go by Love Eternal. And you can find us online at loveeternal.org, and hope to see you again soon. This song is called Evolution Song. Just like the farmer plants his seeds, then waits for the fruit so patiently. We are on our way, we are on our way. We are on our way, we are on our way. Just like the song that's never been sung, or a great act of kindness that's yet to be done. We are on our way, we are on our way. We are on our way, we are on our way. On the evolution. On the evolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Jahred and Jahna. No, Jahred and Jahna. There we go. They Love Eternal. They sang their original song. We're on our way, evolution, and they mentioned the line, life is so much more than it seems. We're all going to open our eyes and see. You know, it's not just our little world, it's the whole of God. It's the whole of the world that's the reality. And they're talking about that journey of becoming. You know, today we're going to talk about the joy of becoming. And we all seem to have this life goal to become all that we can be. And I think we have a slide for this. Yes. And you know, we want to, in the journey of becoming, we want to fulfill our dreams. You know, we envision becoming our highest self with joyful expectancy. So how do we do that? You know, how do we find that joy of becoming? Now, we've been talking this month about, you know, the winter solstice is approaching, and so we're talking about taking a pause to reflect on our life's journey. And that was part of what Dr. Edward Viljoen spoke about in that reading that Brenda shared with us this morning. You know, the days get shorter and shorter, darker and darker, until there is a pause, a stillness, before that cycle turns and the days begin to get longer and longer. But in that stillness, our attention turns from that busy outside world, and it's really busy with the holidays coming up, and we hear that still small voice of God, eternally present within our hearts. And this is the voice of God, the infinite divine, that is expressing itself in us, through us, and as all of creation. Each one of you is a part of that creation. Each person that, you know, that we hold in our minds, our dear ones, and the people that we know and we don't know, it ripples out into the world. It is all God. And so in Exodus, in the Torah, which is what the Christians call the Old Testament of the Bible, there's a story about Moses and the burning bush. Now Moses is out in the fields. He's tending to his father-in-law's flock of sheep. And the angel of the Lord appears to Moses as a burning bush that's not consumed. And so he sees it from a long ways away, and he goes over close to it and starts to approach it. And as he approaches, God calls out to him and says, "Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." Well, Moses, when he hears this, he hides his face because he's afraid to look at God. And particularly in the Jewish religion, the whole thing of seeing God is very, there's all these issues around it. And so, but God goes on in the conversation, and God tells Moses to go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt. So here's Moses tending the flock. He's supposed to go to Pharaoh and say, "I'm going to take the Israelites out of Egypt." Right. And so in the conversation, Moses asks God, "Well, who am I to go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" God replies, "I will be with you." And Moses asks, "Well, what shall I tell the Israelites is the name of the God of their fathers, so they'll believe me?" Right? And God replied with one of the most important messages in the Bible: "I am who I am. I am that I am. Tell them I am has sent me," Moses, "to you, Pharaoh." Now sometimes that is translated, "I will be what I will be," or "I am the one who always was." There's two important things to remember from this. First, God is not becoming. God already is. God already is everything and has always been everything. So the becoming is just a perception, right? coming from the potential into the form, from the spiritual into the form, but it's always been. And the second thing is that each of us is a part of God that is expressing God. God acts through us. We are the form that God takes in this world. Now, Ernest Holmes explained this in the Science of Mind textbook. He said, "We are not becoming this life, but are now in and of this life. There is no other life. God is not becoming, God is. God is not growing. God is complete. God is not trying to find out something. God already knows." Evolution is not the expression of a becoming God, but it is simply one of the ways that a God who already is expresses itself, and as such is the logical result of involution and is eternally going on. Right? So involution is that divine potential coming into form. It's not just haphazard. It's not just the fossils leading one to the other, but it is the actual divine intention coming into form. Now, at the divine level, there is no becoming. God already is. And so we are parts of God that are expressing that infinite potential that already exists. God is pouring itself through all creation. It's like God is creating this magnificent sculpture, right? But God is every part of the process. God is the intention. God is the putty, or the formless substance that the sculpture is made out of. And the finished sculpture itself is God. It's all God, the intention, the process, the law, and the body, the sculpture. So now the reason we exist in the first place is because we are a necessary part of the unfolding of the divine. In this pause for the winter solstice, take the time to really drink in this spiritual truth. Marinate yourself in it, if you will. We have a greater awareness of what was already there in the first place. God is and has always been. We are an integral part of the divine, each one of us, the one life that is God. This realization, when we really get it, it's life transforming. Right? Be still and know that I am God. When we remember that we are part of the one infinite life, it just shifts my whole perspective on life entirely, right? It's easy to get so intently focused on what we're doing as individuals, on reaching our goals and getting it right, that we lose sight of the bigger picture. We can lose sight of all the other people in the world and their points of view as part of the one life. We have our troubles or our successes or whatever we're doing, but that's only a small part of the wholeness of God. It's an important part, but it's not all of it, right? And so as we become in the stillness aware of that spiritual truth that we are a part of the one life, right? Whatever we're doing is always a part of something greater than ourselves, right? When we move, the ripples ripple out into the universe, right? We do not act alone. All those other lives are part of us. Whatever we choose to become as we live our lives, these possibilities already exist within the infinite potential. And we are just creating a pathway for the infinite to express itself, what already exists, in form. It's an amazing relationship. Now, when we go through life, we drill down deep to deal with life issues, and I know I can really do this well. I can put those blinders on and just get in the middle of trying to deal with something and making it right. As the minister of the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee, I get focused on leading the center. Getting everything right. I want the Sunday service right and the technology to be right, the classes, and recruiting volunteers working with the board. And right now we're recruiting an office administrator. This is a conundrum to me at this point in time. Where can we find this new person? What skills do they need? How could they afford to live here in the basin with the salary that we pay for a part-time job? Why do the administrators we hire not stay more than 6 to 8 months? What is Spirit trying to teach us? So really, I'm really focusing on this outer manifestation, my physical actions, my thinking, and this person. And so it's focusing on the physical world. But in the stillness, I can shift my attention to that 30,000 foot level, that level of oneness, which is really the universe level, right? And then I can remember that I am always part of something greater. This is an activity of Spirit. All of God is working together to create that perfect office administrator and our perfect slot for them to fill. There is a match. I am just one part of the wholeness of God that is creating that perfect match right now. So my job is to let go of any sense of separation, any fear, my sense that I need to create anything alone by myself. Right? I must be still and know that God already knows the answer. God is already manifesting the perfect administrator in that office, working and having a great time and supporting our center as we support them on their life path. I need to work on my own consciousness so that is so, and that our center is worthy of this great new office administrator. Sometimes when things don't show up, it's because we don't think we're worthy, and we need to have something small and not the best, because this is what we deserve. But it's God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, right? That's God's intention. We're part of God. I mean, who would withhold things from their children? We are God's creation, and so it's ours to accept it, and with love and gratitude. Dr. Harry Morgan Moses, CSO minister, he says, change is inevitable, but growth is optional. We can keep on repeating the same pattern, or we can get still and listen to the divine guidance regarding the office administrator, or whatever issue it is in our lives, and manifest the divine possibility, the highest and best solution to this challenge. We have to sometimes let go of what we think it must be and outlining exactly how we think it should be, and allow ourselves to embrace that greater yet to be. For me, this creates a dance with the infinite. I mean, it's an amazing process. And as I spend time in the stillness, my awareness grows beyond my own finite experience and brain power. The answers to my question come from infinite possibilities. They already exist in the infinite mind. And then they suddenly become open and available to my own finite mind. Barriers that seem to exist in my mind and my life, my worldly existence, they dissolve when I shift to that infinite perspective of oneness. The importance of my individual life and actions, it suddenly becomes the feeling part of creating a world that works for everyone. This is my part. What I seek, I already am. Discovering a new way of being becomes the joy of discovering and becoming my higher self, my divine self in form. Well, that's why it's so important to take the time to pause, get our consciousness in alignment with Spirit, with God. In some ways, it's like discovering heaven within. In the Declaration of Principles that Ernest Holmes wrote back in 1926, there's 12 principles of Science of Mind, and one of them is we believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience to the degree that we become conscious of it. And so there is heaven on earth, but and it already exists, part of the oneness, but we have to become conscious of it. And until we do, we're not experiencing it. Maybe little glimpses or so forth. But if we think we're living in hell, we'll continue to do that. But if we live in heaven, if we allow ourselves to open up to that divine intention, that's what we will start to experience. It can be a difficult shift that we come back to the old patterns, but gradually and gradually we see that and experience that as the truth at every moment. When we in this stillness, it's like being at the top of the roller coaster. When you go up that roller coaster, there's this slowly, you're cranking up the track, and there's that sense of anticipation as that roller coaster climbs up slowly to the top of the track, and then you get to the pinnacle, and there in that stillness, we're aware of everything around us, and we are aware of what we were missing because we were so involved in the busyness. Because right now that roller coaster ride has our full attention, and then we experience that heaven within us, that life force within us. We feel very much alive, and we allow that joyful song and the life of God to shine through us, and that roller coaster goes down, and off we go into the world with a little different perspective. Ernest Holmes asks us in the textbook, let us learn to be still and let the truth speak through us, to be still and know that the inner light shines. In the stillness, we want to know without a doubt that we are one with God. Haven Trevino, in his book, The Tao of Healing, says, quiet the mind, be still, and watch the breath of God rise and fall into all things. Allow God's breath to be your breath. Allow God's nature to be your nature. That excitement as that roller coaster reaches the pinnacle. It's like the day of winter solstice, the absolute stillness and quiet, and then God unfurls itself as us. That potential is manifest, and our experience every moment of every day is very much alive. And so we have when we listen, it's like we awaken to the true nature of God in us. We live life in Technicolor. Right? When we encounter life's challenges, we are not limited by our finite experience and intelligence in the way it's always been in the past. Instead, our vision is open to answers and possibilities that come from the infinite intelligence, the infinite love, the power and presence of God within us and everywhere present. We can see things that were right in front of us that we never saw before. We can see through whatever seems to be happening and see that spiritual truth underneath and call it out, right? Joyfully, I dance with the infinite. Right? There's this wonderful story that's told by Eliza Perlman. It's in the this month's magazine. Eliza is a master storyteller and a psychotherapist. It's a Taoist story about the rainmaker. It takes place in a village in China where no rain had fallen for a very long time. The monks tried everything. The locals had performed every single ritual to invoke the rain that they knew and some new ones, yet nothing had proven effective. It was still dry. So finally, they agreed to summon an old Taoist priest known as the Rainmaker to come and visit their village. So this quiet man, he arrived, looked around, and then he made a rather modest request. He said he wanted a quiet house to stay in, a small garden to tend, and to be given total solitude. Okay, so the villagers honored his request and left him alone. Well, on the fourth day, the rain began to fall. So the people were really excited. Oh, he's done miracles. This is so fantastic. So the people of the village ran over to the rainmaker, to that little quiet house, and They wanted to thank him for everything that he'd done. And he quietly said, I've done nothing. Well, they insisted, of course you have. After 4 days, the long-awaited rains, they came. Again he said, I did nothing. Before I came, I was aligned and in order with myself. Upon arriving, I became infected with the disorder that permeates this village. You know, that's that race consciousness that's all around us that affects our lives. So these days of requested solitude, the days of tending to the garden, they were needed for me to restore my own inner garden of order. When I was able to do so, when my own inner consciousness was in order, then the rain began to fall. I did not make the rain happen. I only took responsibility for myself. You know, it's an important metaphor for what the world is like today. You know, we become so easily infected by our mental collective environment, so quick to mock and point fingers. If only this weren't this way or was this other way, that I'm sure it would be fixed. You know, we're in a state of drought. You know, peace is tenuous. We're holding grudges. So many people are angry. We just focus on our personal world. We worry about and blame everyone else for everything wrong in the world around us. And if we remain this way, we ultimately contribute to a perpetual drought. Our responsibility is to restore our own inner garden of order. So to me, this story is a perfect reminder of the possibility and power of the meditative call to tend to our own world, to calm the noise, to bring forgiveness to the grudges, the vitriol, the division. We then remember that we are part of the oneness, of the divine, the wholeness of God. This is our true nature. We then create a hospitable place for peace to reign upon us in the world. Sitting in the pause, in the stillness, provides the opportunity to listen and reflect. And as we listen to that still small voice of God whispering to us, be still and know that I am God. Be still and come into the quiet glory and deep joy of God in us now. What we seek, we already are. We are already whole, perfect, and complete as a part of God, of infinite wisdom, infinite love, infinite peace, and blissful joy. Let your spirit discover heaven within you and the joy of becoming on the outside who you already are on the inside as part of the one. Let's take this to prayer. So all of the hustle and bustle of the approaching holidays, the excitement, the stress, all the activity, I just let it go for this moment. In the stillness of the approaching winter solstice, the stillness of the falling snow, there is quiet, there is peace. I speak my word for every person who is hearing my voice, for each person who is a part of the one life that is God. In the stillness of this moment, I allow my conscious awareness to hear that still small voice of God within me, whispering, "You are my beloved son or daughter. You are a beloved part of me, of the one. All that I am is serving you and all of humanity. All that I am is expressing itself in you, through you, and as you. It is my good pleasure to give you the kingdom. My heart gently opens wide to accept this infinite love. In this stillness, I know that all is well. All is God. I am ready for God to unfurl itself in me and through me and as my life. I let go and flow into that present moment with exhilaration. I let myself go down that roller coaster from the stillness and into the next moment, into the next and the next. One with God. Together. We live as a part of the one life. Always and continuously, I live as one with God. Divine guidance leads me forward with clarity. Answers to every question come as quickly and as clearly as the question itself. My whole body, mind, and spirit move with ease, with inner and outer strength and wholeness, perfect health. All around me, all of life, God's light supports me perfectly. Every need is met perfectly, graciously, and beautifully. And I let go with complete trust. My cup runneth over. I share my good with all of life. I am grateful beyond measure to know the truth of who I am, to live in perfect harmony with infinite love, peace, and joy every moment. I celebrate the stillness. I celebrate the coming acceleration forward. I trust God through the law to reliably bring this awareness into form in my life and everywhere. I dance with spirit now in blissful joy. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And together we say, and so it is. So I want to invite Love Eternal back for one more song. This one is called Oneness. And one of the lines is, I bring that pure intent and God brings the rest. Right? When we listen to spirit, our intentions arise out of the greater possibilities of God expressing itself through us. So we focus in on our part and we open up to that greater self at the same time. We are both at the same time, right? And then God through us and through all the universe manifests that intention. We live and move as one. So Jahred and Shawna are living that. Not only are they two practitioners writing music that expresses the science of mind principles so beautifully, but they have expanded their expertise in organic backyard gardening into a business where they install backyard organic gardens as a booming business. Spirit is providing for them. And since they could not be here to share their CDs and jewelry and as potential Christmas gifts as they originally planned to do, they've included a promo as a part of their last song today. So if you want to support them in that way, you can. So here is Love Eternal singing Oneness.
Hello again and happy holiday
For everyone in every way.
Before we start this next song, normally before the pandemic, when we would play a church like yours, afterwards we would have a table set up and you could come up and visit with us, and we had CDs, and my wife makes amazing jewelry.
Connection.
And so although we are not there with you, you could reach out to us. My email is my name, Jahred, at loveeternal.org. Shawna's is the same, SHAWNA, at loveeternal.org. Or if you just go to loveeternal.org, there's a contact form. And then we could discuss, show you pictures of my wife's beautiful jewelry. Try to get in there closely. Which she sells for $25 a pair or 2 for $40. We do free shipping. We also have CDs. We have a few different ones. And then we have flash drives that we have all of our original music on. Right there. And we sell those for $25 a piece as well. And these have about 100 songs on them, including a couple live songs. And
nearly our discography.
Yeah, almost our entire discography.
Although we're working on it.
Exactly.
Anyway, we thought we'd tell you all that.
And then all purchases get free stickers, or if you wanted to just order like a stack of stickers to put them in stockings for people or for gifts, or if you wanted, say, to buy a bunch of CDs so you could give one to everybody, we can work out a special deal just for you. And
when we're in person, we'll give you your free little sticker.
Yeah, we give them for free when we see people in person. So yeah, there's our little announcement about merch. It's really helpful to support musicians in this time, whether you're supporting us or other musicians.
Which you are by having us, and we appreciate it. And
exactly.
Connection is the best thing you could ever offer anyway.
Exactly. So this song we're going to play for you is called One Step. And it says, I take one step in front of the next. My only intent is to bless and be blessed. I bring that pure intent, and God brings the rest. Say one step in front of the next. My only intent is to bless and be blessed. So put one step in front of the next. My only intent is to bless and be. And I bring pure intent, and Jah bring the rest. I bring pure intent, and Jah brings the rest. Faith guide my actions and truth guide my song. My soul will last forever, but this body won't last long. I'm gonna put one foot in front of the next. So the most I got guide and I through these steps. As I praise you, as I thank you, as I love you, as I trust you. This one's for you. This one's for you. This one's for you, God. This one's for you. So one step in front of the next. My only intent is to bless and be blessed. But one step in front of the next. My only intent is to bless and be. And I bring pure intent. God brings the rest. And I bring pure intent. Yes. And God brings the rest. To bless and be blessed. 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 God brings the rest. All right, we love you guys. We hope you have a wonderful holiday. Stay in touch, and we will see you next year. Maybe even in person. Aloha.
All right. Well, thank you, Love Eternal. And we're coming into the prosperity time for our service this morning. And if you would join me, we here at the CSL Tahoe-Truckee, we know that God is our infinite source. And we, if you would hold your offering or your pledges or enter your gift, whatever you're bringing, and hold it over your heart and read our prosperity affirmation along with me. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source, My gift blesses the center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me, blessed and multiplied. You know, your gifts make it possible for me and for our center to do our spiritual work and to support you and to create a world that works for everyone. And you can donate by mailing in a check. You can set up a regular donation through the bank as a bill pay. Click on Give Today button on the website. Lots of ways, or the newsletter, it's up to you. But we are very grateful for your gifts, and thank you for your support. And so as all of these offerings and gifts come in, I am grateful. We are grateful, for we know that they are part of that circulation of that divine abundance that is the truth of life, the infinite abundance that comes from infinity and circulates through us, through the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee, and goes out, ripples out into the world to transform lives, to support our building, to support our staff, to support each person who is a part of our center, whether they are here or some other place this morning, busy with the holidays and life. We know that God is everywhere present. We are grateful. We know that all is good, all is God, and so it is. Amen. All right. So this morning, we're in the middle of our 2022 pledge campaign and our end of the year drive. And so I'd like to welcome Brenda Heldoorn to give us an update on how that's going. Brenda is not only a practitioner, but she is also a board member and our treasurer currently. So please welcome Brenda Heldoorn.
Thank you, everyone. Lovely to see you. So, you know, we don't have a crystal ball that we can consult to prepare next year's budget with. Our process is that we engage in this campaign of inviting people to submit their pledges for the coming year in support of our center. And when we receive those pledges, we're able to be good stewards of our community to see what exactly we can expect for a budget for the coming year. And in the spirit of being good stewards for our community, we invite everyone to please send in a pledge. And it is, it's immaterial, really, what the pledge is. It will be something that is comes to you through your spiritual practice, through your prosperity consciousness, through your willingness to be in service to this community. And so if you have not already sent in your pledge, please take it to prayer. Find the space to ask the question, to receive the guidance for what it is that you will pledge in support of our community for 2022. So we have received several already, although they are a bit slow coming in, and part of that is because we're not in person consistently yet. And so I am so grateful for the ones that have come in. I do want to mention that each person who does submit their pledge to the center will be receiving the beautiful journal that's being offered through the Science of Mind. And that's a daily journal that you can use for your daily spiritual practice. And so each one of you who does submit a pledge will be receiving that journal, so that each day when you're in your spiritual practice, you will know how grateful we are to have you as part of our community and participating in the wholeness and of the work that we do in the world. So thank you so much. And like I said, if you have not submitted your pledge yet, please take it into prayer and open yourself for guidance to what that may be, and bring that pledge forward just as soon as possible, so that we can continue to be good stewards of our community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brenda. No, it's something that's it's part of our partnership with God and with our center, you know, to be that financial support for the center. And I want to thank Brenda for those CSL theme journals. It follows the themes that we talk about every Sunday. So it makes it extra special. You can know what's coming up and what my topic is going to be most times. Now and then I'll change it, but mostly you'll know. And but she is gifting those to all of us. So we're really grateful for that wonderful gift. And I also want to mention that we have also an end of the year drive that in the letters that you got in the mail, there's the pledge card, but then there's also a gift so we can bring our activities for the year into balance. And so we counted up about $13,000 that we would like to have for the end of the year. And so far we're at about 8,000. And we want to thank several people for making some donations. And I particularly want to acknowledge Maureen, because she made a very generous end of the year donation. And it's brought us a big, long way along there. And so we have over $8,000 now. So we have about 5,000 left to go. And one of the reasons the number is so high is that we are changing banks to Plumas Bank. And because Tri-Counties Bank closed their Truckee office, and the closest one is Nevada City, which is a long drive to deposit checks and cash. So we're in the process of refinancing our mortgage and getting new accounts, but they have a requirement that for each checking account you have you either pay $12 a month or you have a minimum balance of $2,000. So I guess God wants us to have a reserve, and so we need it twice, once for the checking account and once for the building fund. So this is a positive thing, I've decided, and Spirit is calling us to improve our financial management, and so this is an opportunity. So we're looking forward to, and we're grateful for each of you that has given and will help us meet that goal. So also, I guess, and this is also the time when we welcome our friends that are visiting. And I know Maggie was here for a while, and so she's visiting from the Tahoe Forest residential home there. And so we're grateful that she's been able to get the staff there to help get her online so she can be a part of our community. As far as our announcements, though, right after service today, I want you to stay online, because we will have a Zoom hospitality that we have going on. And we are looking for a new administrator, as I mentioned in our talk. So if you know someone that would fit that possibility, please have them get in touch with me. And it's kind of a flexible job description right now, because it's a different job than it was when we didn't do all this high-tech stuff, and we created lots of brochures and handouts and things for Sunday mornings. So but I think that perfect person is on their way. Also, on our website, you can find our announcements, the Zoom link on the website, in that constant contact email that comes out on our Facebook page. And you can also follow us on Instagram. I think that's still working. And we post the videos of our Sunday services, and the inspirational messages are also on there. So you can look back and see the ones in the past if you've missed them. And you can do a keyword search also for those inspirational messages. Next Sunday, December 19th, we're continuing the journey of becoming, and I will talk about the gift of a new journey. Our music will be provided by Daniel Naba. He is one of our absolute favorites, fantastic New Thought musician. And the practitioner will be Reverend Rick Carney. We have quite a few other things coming up, so it's still time to register for the CSL, Spiritual Living Convention, which is this year at the Hyatt Regency in Indian Wells in the Greater Palm Springs area. It's January 18th through the 21st. Early bird registration has ended, and they are almost sold out of the in-person attendance, but you can still sign up to attend online and be a part of everything that is going on, and that's a great opportunity. If you want to try something different for the holidays, tomorrow night, Monday night, December 13th at 6 p.m. Pacific, the Centers for Spiritual Living, their Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee is presenting Story of Life, Story of Light. And so their host is Rebecca Harioka, who works at home office and a practitioner there. And she has brought in several guests to inclusively celebrate the holidays. So they're going to be families and individuals who are sharing their cherished holiday traditions with us. And they're from around the world, different faiths, different traditions. So it'll be a wonderful, interesting night. And you can go to our website to click on the registration or to the CSL webpage as well. Coming back home, next weekend, we have on Sunday night, December 19th, starting at 5 p.m., we have our annual holiday party at Donna Axton's home. She's graciously opened it up for us again. We'll have a potluck dinner, a white elephant gift exchange if you choose, and face masks and vaccinations will be required. We want everyone to be safe since we'll be eating without our masks on, and keeping our masks on when we're not eating and singing. So anyway, that is next Sunday. It's always a great time. And she has a beautiful home that she graciously opens up to us, and a giant kitchen. So wonderful. Next, we on December 23rd, Thursday night, not Christmas Eve, but Thursday night, December 23rd at 6 p.m., we're going to have our in-person candlelight service. It'll also be online, and this will be our traditional service of being able to light a candle and light that light within us as well that Brenda was talking about in the reading and the beautiful meditation this morning. Oh yeah, Patricia's reminding us to dress warm for Donna's house. Yes, she does. It's a big house, and so she keeps the temperature down, but it's worth it. It's wonderful. There will be no Sunday service on the day after Christmas, Sunday, December 26th, because we're having that candlelight service. So, but come join us for the candlelight service. Okay, so our ongoing classes are we're going to are on Zoom. They go on. They continue this week. Tai Chi on Thursdays, meditation on Thursdays later that afternoon, and then A Course of Love on Fridays. All the links, all of these are in our newsletter and on the website. So the practitioners, I love to always welcome and mention our practitioners because they are the heart of our center. We believe in prayer. We know that prayer changes lives. It aligns us when we can't see the forest for the trees and we are just in the middle of it. That's when we call on a practitioner, and they can see that spiritual truth and help us climb down off the wall and remember that we are part of the one. And they do it so beautifully. And so our practitioner of the day was Brenda Heldoorn. Nancy O'Neill is also here. Carol Delbon, Michael Brandman. I'm also a practitioner. So any of us, please call us. You'll make our day because it reminds us that we're connected with Spirit as well. All right. And so we'd like to say a prayer for our children. And then we'll have our closing song and affirmation. So if you would bless our children and read along with me. We see you, we hear you, we love you, You are a gift from God, and so it is. And if you would read our affirmation along with me. I sit in joyful expectation of the revelation of God. Right. Joyful expectation. And since it's December, we're going to have the peace song. And I think we got the words to match the words that they're singing in the music this time. So. All right, thank you, everyone. You can all unmute yourselves, and we'll, if you'd like to share. And the snow's kind of coming and going, so I can still see the lake.
Yeah, it's not doing anything here.
Nothing?
Well, no,
Nothing.
it's just a gentle light snow.
It is.
Well,
It is.
Now
Yeah.
it started again, just little teeny baby flakes.
Yeah. We'll see if it becomes the storm of the century, right?
Yeah.
So the whole idea is to be prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, our refrigerator's full.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting ready to leave and fill mine up again. Somehow it dwindles during the day. But anyway, it was great to see everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So stay safe, stay warm. Hopefully the power stays on.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue.
That's why I love my gas
we have
stove.
some hurricane lamps that we probably should get out of the box wherever they are and just.
There you go.
Yeah, you should.
As I say, be prepared. We have a generator, so that's always a good thing. And look at Maureen, is dressed for it.
Right.
And not that I want the power to.
It's kind of cool here.
Is it?
Drizzly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that wet cold can be colder than the snow.
I'm not wishing for the power to go out, but there is something wonderful about candlelight, and
I know.
Since you love candles.
I
Yeah.
do.
And doing nothing, right? Reading with your
well,
headlamp on.
You have to read with, yeah, that's what you get to do, and it's lovely. And Nancy, that little candle holder that you got for me from Ananda, that is the perfect. Could I just tell you, that's because it just holds one little tea light. It's like my night light at night.
Good.
So I burn that one candle, and it just goes out on its own.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely. So thank you.
Good. Oh, that's
Nice.
And I hope I could see some of you or all of you or whatever, and the more the merrier next Saturday, if it works out, if you're in the neighborhood.
And if the next storm hasn't come in.
Right.
Yeah, at this point it does look like it should be clear. So we
Good.
should be good for Donna's too on Sunday.
Good. Yeah.
And we will be in the sanctuary live next Sunday and online. And Karen Heine will be back, so we'll be streaming on Facebook. That's our most reliable streaming, and so we're grateful for that. But so come whichever way is the best for you.
Okay. So I'm running to the
Bye.
grocery store now. So
I'm signing off too.
Bye.
loved
Bye.
everybody. Thank you for a beautiful service. Bye-bye.
On the road,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, hello.
Hello,
So you-
Brenda.